Human trafficking is the world's fastest growing crime, worth an estimated $32 billion annually, $810 million here in San Diego alone.
What was that moment like when the police officer took you in his arms?
You know, being abused by a bunch of men, including your own dad. I don't know why, I felt really safe with him. And when the two other detectives got there, they just made me feel they gave me clothes to put on. They didn't look at me like, oh, she's a prostitute or she's a whore, you know. They seen me for who I was. And since then, I've never looked back.
Why is this project needed? First of all, human trafficking is a crime against humanity and a modern version of slavery. This form of slavery is existing within our own generation and is occurring all around us, even throughout our own communities. Human trafficking is a complex public health issue because it affects in many ways entire communities throughout generations. It not only affects people's mental health, but it also increases communicable and non-communicable diseases. We should care about this problem because everyone is valuable. Population, homeless, and the foster children. We should be concerned about these populations because they are the hardest hit when it comes to this issue. We all have an obligation as humans to seek justice and help these oppressed individuals. The risk factors include being homeless or in the foster care system. These two populations are uniquely at risk because the majority of them have experienced violence, stigma, and disconnection within their own families.
SHUD's mission is to reduce human trafficking with the goal of educating communities within San Diego County. We will be primarily focusing on Madison High School students as well as San Diego County's foster care system. Our objectives are by next year, 1 out of every 20 students within Madison High School will understand what human trafficking is and what the signs and risks are. Also, by next year, 1 out of 15 foster parents should be educated on the dangers of trafficking and how to reduce the risks of their dependents from becoming victims. By the end of our program with Madison High School, 1 out of 10 students should have the proper knowledge and contacts on how to take action if they feel they are at risk of being trafficked or know someone who is. Besides partnering with Madison High School and the foster care system, we will also involve the community by working cooperatively with HOPE, the Survivor Leader Network of San Diego, and with the Bilateral Safety Corridor Coalition.
In order to reach out to the high school students in Madison High School, we will need to do both focus groups and assemblies. The assemblies will be held once a semester from approval from the principal. In the assemblies, we will provide resources and contact information, and students will gain an understanding of what human trafficking is, what are the signs and risks, and how to avoid becoming a victim. As for the focus groups, we will work closely with 3 teachers that will collaborate with us and allow us some classroom time to conduct a focus group with their students twice a semester. The focus group consists of 2 to 4 groups within each classroom depending on its size.
Our Facebook page is now live where you can find educational and awareness information. It will always be updated and always remain active and can be found at www.facebook.com/help-stop-human-trafficking-in-SD/. Informational brochures will be distributed at school assemblies and available upon request through Facebook. These brochures have also been handed out to the class prior to our presentation. Business cards with the California Hotline for Human Trafficking will be placed at various gas stations, at the pump, and hotels with permission of the owners. Posters will also be placed on bus stop shelters. In addition to our brochure and ads, we will also be visiting one high school to educate students on how to avoid falling prey to human trafficking. We will use incentives such as food, entertainment, and extra credit upon approval from the teachers. We will also reach out to foster care homes in San Diego. Foster parents will need to attend one of our human trafficking seminars every 6 months. We will provide incentives of a $40 gift card to those parents. Our pilot high school presentation will take place at Madison High School. It will be a school assembly to include the entire student body. The presentation will begin with Eliza Amar from Breaking the Silence program to speak from an international victim's perspective, along with her shoe display expressing the array of ages, genders, and backgrounds of victims. Eliza Amar is a victim herself from Tel Aviv who was recruited and kidnapped after answering an employment ad in the local paper. Following Eliza Amar will be Thomas Jones of the Hope Project San Diego, who discusses the real dangers of males being victims, as it is a common misconception that it can't happen to young men. This is extremely important because of the stigma that comes with male victims of sexual abuse. The Hope Project gives men an outlet and a safe space for support and community. Our presentation will then continue with speakers from the SHUT program expressing statistics in the local area and the average age which relates to them. Flyers will then be handed out for resources for those who may be victims and or know someone who is. Resources for those wanting more and resources for those who want to help. Our take-home message for this presentation is awareness that it can happen to you.
Our program will also hold seminars for foster parents, and through our partnership with San Diego County's foster care system, foster parents will be required to attend a seminar twice a year. By the end of the seminars, they will have gained knowledge on the dangers of human trafficking, how to identify warning signs in order to take proper actions to protect their children from becoming victims. They will also be informed on how to report any suspected activity. Additional resources will also be provided. These include an email list to keep in contact with the parents and keep them up to date with any upcoming events. A link to our Facebook page where they can post any questions and start a forum in order to form a sense of community.
In order to determine the success of this program, we have to have the following measurements. First, we will collect data from the following year after we have implemented our educational program to determine if there has been any reduction on human trafficking in San Diego. Also, for those students and parents who attended our seminar, we will give them a survey to determine if they have gained any knowledge about this issue. We will also determine if the Facebook page provided by the program has been successful in gaining followers, as well as the engagement of the page. And lastly, we will ask for feedback from students, staff, and parents to determine if the success of the program has been achieved after seminars. After conducting the measurements for the program's success, the evaluation will determine if foster families and students from Madison High School gain any knowledge from our seminar and presentations. Also to see if there was an impact within the community of San Diego by the program. And lastly, to decide if the program can be implemented to other high schools so the SHUT program can have a greater impact in San Diego County. Nonetheless, we will determine if the 3 SMART objectives of the program was successfully achieved after we implement our program.
Now that we have reached the end of our presentation, I believe the most important thing to take home from this presentation is this quote by Benjamin Franklin. Justice will not be served until those who are unaffected are as outraged as those who are. Thank you.